There we go. All right, so we're going to be continuing right off of how we left off last time with Aras uploading parts. Before I go directly into Aras, we're going to talk about the differences in BOMs or bill of materials in engineering. So there's very many different types of bill of materials that end up being created in a product's life cycle. You'll have like a sales BOM, a service BOM, an engineering BOM, a manufacturing BOM, and these different lists of components can be used to describe different things. So the engineering BOM generally will contain, as the engineers are designing the product, all the items, parts, and subassemblies that they've designed, and it's generally hosted on the PDM software. So in our case, our engineering bill of materials is going to be on Aras Innovator, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But the engineering bill of materials may not necessarily show you how to put together all those parts. And that's where you get the manufacturing bill of materials. So that's the bill of materials you guys have already created and will be reviewing with me tonight. And so in our case, we just have a spreadsheet full of all the parts that we need to purchase to be able to put together our product, which in this case is the bot. Usually a manufacturing bill of materials will also include instructions. So if you have a part that needs to get gold plated, for example, or gold painted, for example, it'll exist twice on the manufacturing bill of materials. First as the basic base metal part that is manufactured, and then a second part will exist. There will be an instruction that says this part needs to be gold plated, and there will be a second part on the manufacturing bill of materials referencing that part after it's been gold plated. So the manufacturing bill of materials can be used to complete the product and actually ship it, and then you'll have a sales bill of materials and service bill of materials that are used to sell and support and service the product. Of course, we really only use these two, and the way we're using them is a little bit different than how they're conventionally used, but I think it's the closest analogy to what we're doing in the industry. So the Aras bill of materials, the bill of materials feature in Aras allows you to establish relationships between part files and CAD documents. And this is really helpful for assemblies, because it lets you create an assembly and reference all the parts within that assembly within Aras itself. And that will make it really easy to go down the bill of materials, see the different parts within and sub-assemblies within your assembly, and it also will correctly link all your documents together. That way, when you're downloading those documents from Aras, it can properly establish relationships and set that up on your computer. We're going to be doing this all manually for this semester, downloading each part manually and uploading it manually. But next semester, when we have a connector, and the connector is an interface that is directly between Aras and SOLIDWORKS, you'll be able to open up SOLIDWORKS, press retrieve, and immediately download and host the files in your computer's memory. And that's where the bill of materials becomes really helpful, because then you never have to worry about having parts on your computer. They're always on Aras and you're always retrieving them. The bill of materials is what makes sure that you download and link the right files. So an example of what that looks like, I'll show it right here. So I'm going to show the test part I've been working on. So yeah, search test asterisk question.
So can you edit the CAD files directly on Aras with SOLIDWORKS? So that they're not stored on your computer? Is that how it works?
So the files are stored on Aras, but you cannot edit them through the Aras browser. You edit them in SOLIDWORKS on your computer, and every time you save the part, you have to close it in SOLIDWORKS, take the local part you have on your computer, and go to Aras and upload it upload it to the CAD document as I showed last time. And that process is a bit tedious because in your eyes it may seem pretty similar to what you would do if, say, you were hosting the file on Google Drive. And it's not necessarily how PDM is always used. Next semester, it's just not ready for us to use this semester. But next semester, we're going to remove the part where you have the CAD on your computer. So you're going to open up SOLIDWORKS. There's a tab in SOLIDWORKS that will have installed, and it'll let you'll press in SOLIDWORKS, download this file, and it'll download it from Aras, put the CAD file in memory, and when you're done with it, it goes back up to Aras, but you don't keep a local copy on your computer. So that's going to be really convenient, especially for assemblies, but we just don't have that available yet. So yeah, I'm going to show you what a bill of materials in Aras looks like. And then I'm going to go over how to actually make one. So I've opened up my TLA test top level assembly file. And if we go to the 3D viewer here, you can see now it's got a couple different components. It's got my chassis. It's got my custom designed wheels. It's got the standard Malenki Nano part that's on Aras, and the standard repeat brushed drive component that is also available on Aras. And these are all represented here in the first tab, the BOM, bill of materials. So if I wanted to open up, if I wanted to open up the chassis, I would just go to the BOM, double click the chassis, and now I have the chassis part linked. I can also link, I'm not just limited to the parts I designed. I can also open up standard parts, and we can see that this Malenki Nano receiver is the same as the one that I have in my assembly here. So how do you get it all into that assembly? Oh yeah. Okay, before I show how you get it all into the assembly, the bill of materials isn't the only place where all these documents are linked. In order for Aras to know that those documents are in that SOLIDWORKS assembly file, you also have to link them in the CAD document of the assembly itself. So you can see in the document file for the assembly, it also references all these parts, and that's how Aras knows that they belong to each other, and that's how the connector, when we get it set up, will know how they all connect to each other. So I'll do a quick demonstration on getting an assembly on your computer and putting it all together. So right now I have two parts. I have this box I created. I have a lid for the box. I need fasteners, and I designed this to fit the number 4 plastite standard part that we're going to have. So I'll go to Aras real quick and download that. And as you can see in my search terms, I'm searching for Railside standard part, and here I have a flathead plastite number 4 screw, which is what I designed for. So I'll just go ahead and click that to download it. And then I'm going to create an assembly in SOLIDWORKS. Insert my components. And then I'm also going to get the screws real quick in here. So I've got, for the purposes of this demonstration, a completed assembly with 3 components. I can hide the lid. You can see the box is there. And I'm going to save this as, since this isn't a robot, I don't have a part naming convention for it, but I am going to prefix it with demo. That way in the CAD system, I can find it easily. And so now I've got my completed assembly file in SOLIDWORKS, and I'm going to go ahead to Aras to get it set up. So currently, 2 of those parts I haven't uploaded to Aras yet, the lid and the box. The screw, you guys saw I downloaded it off Aras, so we're not going to have to upload that. But the first thing you want to do before you upload your assembly is upload the individual components that relate to it. Yeah, so if you forgot how to do that or don't remember, I'll do a quick demo of that as well. And you can actually create a new CAD document at the same time as making a new part document. You go to the CAD documents. Instead of pressing Add CAD Documents, you press this button, New CAD Document, and then you get a little pop-up right here that makes it a little bit faster when you're creating a lot of different parts on Aras. I'm going to have to close all this on SOLIDWORKS before I can upload it. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to give you an error if you try uploading it while it's open in SOLIDWORKS, or if it's just going to corrupt.
I think I did it and it worked.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I know that SOLIDWORKS puts locks on its files, so back when I would, my FRC team would use GrabCAD for PDM, and then if you tried uploading a file, then it would be corrupted. So yeah, I would always just close it. And if it's if you have an assembly, then it's still open, so you need to close the assembly as well. So I just created the part document, the CAD document at the same time and uploaded the CAD document. One thing to note, if you do this, which I always do it because it's faster, is for whatever reason you cannot set a designated user if you create a CAD document within a part document. So after you do that, you need to go and edit the CAD document and add a designated user, Railside. And so that's my box. I'm going to also upload my lid. Alright, now I've got every single CAD document uploaded to Aras except for the assembly file itself. SOLIDWORKS creates part files and assembly files. Assembly files are where all the parts go together. So to create an assembly file, I'm going to first create a new part. Name it demo box TLA. Same standard stuff, same team user. Type is going to be, instead of component company part, it's going to be part assembly. Yeah. And then I'll also go ahead and create a CAD document for it right now. But I'm not going to upload the assembly file just yet, because there's some other setup that I'm going to do before I upload the file itself. So I've created my CAD document. Now I'm going to go into my CAD document, edit it, add my designated user, and then right here in the structure is where you're going to add the CAD documents that refer to the SOLIDWORKS CAD documents. And the reason you do this is because when you create an assembly file in SOLIDWORKS, all it really is a bunch of references to part files. With a bunch of relationships, mates between them. Aras doesn't know where those parts are, even if you give it that SOLIDWORKS file, until you explicitly tell it that it has these parts in it. So I can upload my CAD, my .SOLIDWORKS assembly file, but I also need to go in here and select all those parts. So I had 3 parts. I had 2 parts called demo box, and lid. I can shift to select both of them and press OK. And then I also had number 4 plastite screw. So I'm going to search for that as well. And it's this guy right here. So I've uploaded my assembly file. I've set the CAD documents in structure. Now I can hit done to save it. And then the last step when you upload an assembly is going to be to go to the BOM of the part and add in, it's basically the same step I just did in the CAD document structure. We're going to add in all those parts to the part bill of materials as well. So we're not going to put in the box TLA because that's this part itself. Yeah, you can't reference a part within a part. And as you can see, we just had the 3D viewer also open up. And we can see my completed assembly, right? The same one I can open it up on my computer. The same assembly I have here with the lid, box, and screw is also now on Aras, and Aras is able to understand that. If you upload all your files and you look at it in the 3D viewer and a component's missing or it just doesn't load, that probably means you didn't link the CAD documents correctly or to the right documents somewhere along in that process. So you should always check after you upload everything on the part in the 3D viewer just to make sure that everything goes together. But once you've done this, you've finished your assembly, it's done and complete. Yay! Let's say you want to add a new part to the assembly. You're going to, first do it in SOLIDWORKS. Then you're going to re-upload your assembly file. Every time you upload a new part, you need to upload the new assembly file. You're going to go to structure. You're going to add in the structure, you're going to go here and add the new CAD document. Well, first, you're going to upload the part to Aras if it's not already on Aras. Once it's on Aras, you add it to the CAD document structure, and then you add it to the part bill of materials, and you update the assembly file, and you're all good. If you change one of the files in the assembly, like, for example, if I were to take my test little bot over here and change the chassis width, I would need to go into the chassis CAD document, update the CAD document with the new CAD document, and then update the assembly file as well. But then it should all be reflected. Does that make sense, or should I just demo it?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. Are there any other questions about assemblies, PDM in general? No?
So if I update a part in the assembly, will it automatically do I have to read it?
So if you update the part in assembly on your computer, then yeah, you need to re-upload the part itself. Will the assembly file update? I haven't tested that, so I can't tell you. So you can try it, but what I do know will work is you update the file. I know on your computer, SolidWorks updates the assembly after you open it and save it, which means you probably then would need to re-upload the assembly file on Innovator as well. So yeah, it's a couple steps every time you upload a part. I know that's really tedious, especially once you start dealing with lots of parts. So the requirement for this semester is going to be Thursday on the CAD review, whatever, all your parts should be on Aras then, and then at the end of the tournament, when your robot's finished and you've completed the CAD model, then the fully updated model should be on Aras then. But I'm not going to say every single time you make a tiny little change to your part, you need to re-upload it, because I know that's a hassle, and it's hard. It's annoying to do if you have to go to the browser every time to do it. Next semester, when we have the connector, that's going to be as simple as that's going to be built into opening the file on SolidWorks. So then it's going to be a requirement, but it's also not going to be. It's going to be like extra 3 seconds. It's 2 extra buttons to do that. But for this semester, you only need to do it. You only need to have Aras reflect your full CAD 2 times. But if you want to work with your teammates, then of course you need to, and you want them to access the CAD, then you need to update it every time you update it.